With the Eastern Conference title wrapped up by the Florida Panthers, is there more pressure or more motivation for VGK to close out the Stars in Dallas tonight?
Your Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hi again, everyone. Tony Cardasco along with Chris Golick. We come to you from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. You could find us on Twitter at Tony Dasco, at TDChrisG, at Locked On VGK. Locked On Golden Knights is the place to be. Of course, on the YouTube channel, please subscribe there. Our subs are going way up, sky high. So, Chris, the Florida Panthers, they complete their sweep over Carolina.
Just as we all expected.
Yeah, so Florida, the Eastern Conference champions. Can VGK now put away the Stars tonight in Dallas to complete a sweep of its own? I feel like the Golden Knights, they won't want to give the Cats any sort of, let's say, competitive advantage, right, by going an extra game and giving the Florida Panthers a little bit more time off. Can the Golden Knights continue to play loose in this series? It would be natural, right, for VGK to maybe not look ahead, but naturally they're going to glance ahead. And they saw what happened, and they had the day off, of course, on Wednesday. So I know that they probably all got together and watched the game and watched Florida. And they really do need to stay focused. And this is where, I guess, the experience comes into play. And Cassidy said as well on Wednesday, that he feels like the team is prepared to play one game at a time. So that focus has to come into play. VGK has to be a team that pays attention to all the details, and they could put this series away.
Speaking of the Florida Panthers, the NHL put out a gem of a tweet here. Overcame a 3-1 deficit against the President's Trophy winners, defeated the league's fourth-ranked team in 5 games, swept the league's second-ranked team, off to the cup for the first time since 96. Not bad for a team entering the postseason as the lowest ranked
the last team. The last
it's
team.
Just the storyline is remarkable. And any other year, I'd be a huge Florida Panthers fan right now. I dust off one of my jerseys from the late 90s with the real cool retro logo and have a blast. So back to your questions, is there more or less pressure on the Vegas Golden Knights? This does put a little bit of pressure on them. One of the concerns we've heard about the Dallas Stars right now is the fact that they went 7 games against the Seattle Kraken, and that possibly is playing a part in, the fact that the Dallas Stars haven't been playing as well, at least not off to, the greatest of starts in game number 1, and then they've been playing catch up obviously ever since. So yeah, Vegas wants to wrap this thing up. Do I think this is going to make them uncomfortable or do anything different? I don't think so. VGK has done a very good job, besides Chandler Stevenson taking, the cross-checking penalty. There's been a lot of poise from the Vegas Golden Knights this series, much more than in the Edmonton series. And I think you'll see that transfer over to VGK wanting to take care of business against a Dallas Stars team who's going to be down 2 key ingredients.
Yeah, and we can't talk about this game without mentioning the captain for Dallas, Jaime Benn, and his suspension, which we'll deep dive into in our second segment. And so, again, Ben here, he'll be out of the lineup. Evgeny Dadonov runs into his own player, and it appears as though he'll be out. And so you've got 2/3 of that line with Ben, Dadonov, and Wyatt Johnston, the outstanding rookie, and that line is no more. So there aren't a ton of options. We will see. I was talking about Glendening drawing back into the lineup, and I think that we will see him because he's the best face-off player for this Dallas Stars team. Good defensively. We could see seldom used Frederick Olofsson, who played in 28 games, but he didn't play in the postseason yet. So VGK will have a depth advantage in this game. But I wanted to ask you, do you think now that perhaps we see a little bit of a switch with Pete DeBoer going 11-7 in this game, so they don't even have to go to the AHL level or go with someone unproven like Frederick Olofsson?
The NHL Network said the same thing. There's a good chance they wind up going 11-7 with the mindset of rolling, the Robo line and Rupe Hintz, every other shift pretty much. I think that's probably the plan. DeBoer is, he's comfortable. We've seen him go 11-7 with the VGK a couple different times. It's not the greatest recipe.
That was due to the cap.
It was, but he's comfortable. So maybe we prepared him for this moment indirectly, I guess you can say. Where this helps the Vegas Golden Knights, besides the fact that Benn and Dadonov will not be in the lineup, of course, where this is really going to help the Vegas Golden Knights is we can have our best defensive unit, our top two defensive units keying in on, the Robo Jason Robertson line and Rupe Hintz basically the entire game. So the matchups, will be much harder for Pete DeBoer to take advantage of getting him out there against our third defensive pairing, which Zach Whitecloud and Nick Hague aren't that bad, but they're the third defensive pairing. You obviously want to get your best team against the lowest ranked defensive unit, and that's part of, the home ice advantage. But at the end of the day, it's not going to last too long, and our defensemen can probably wear their forwards out. Whereas, if they're going to be out there double and triple shifting, whatever DeBoer's got up his sleeve, and it can't be much right now, unfortunately for DeBoer, VGK is just going to basically have to almost play a vintage DeBoer-esque game here, wait for their opportunities, because Dallas, they're going to come out, balls to the wall. They're going to do everything they can in the first 3 or 4 minutes to get the crowd in the game. And honestly, VGK not prevent defense or anything, anything like that, but just wait. Don't get aggressive. You don't need as good of a start as you had, in 2 of the 3 games of the series so far. Just kind of wait, and the opportunities are going to be there. Definitely come the second period, of course.
And Cassidy was talking as well on Wednesday about keeping Dallas out of the slot. They did a tremendous job in the last game, in Game 3. He said that we saw where Dallas came out with the 3 high, that sort of alignment, and the shooting lanes were just shut down by VGK defensively. But again, though, as much as VGK dominated, there were 2 shots that hit the post. Harley and Robertson, right, were the 2 players that hit posts in that game. And so, again, they're pretty close there. But we've seen this in the other series between Florida and the Canes. The Canes had 18 posts in that series. 18, as many as Edmonton. So it could go either way at times, right? That's how close this margin of winning and losing really is.
I guess that's what Brendan Moore was referring to, because they got swept, but his quote, we didn't get swept. I watched the games. We didn't get swept. Like, you got swept, bro. But he's obviously alluding to the fact that, the game, 3 of the goals, well, two of the games, one goal differential. I'm sorry, 2 of the games overtime. The third game was a 1-goal differential, and all the games were 1-goal differentials, actually. I mean, friggin' Kachuk just scoring that late goal. I mean, it's just it's crazy thinking about what's going on there. But back to the Vegas Golden Knights series. I mean, listen, if we just want a scoreboard watch in this series, games 1 and 2 could have gone either way. The series could have been 1-1, could have been 2-0 the other way. Obviously, Vegas came out on top. Third game, if those 2 posts do go in for the Dallas Stars, then maybe we're talking about a different outcome. But I think the game was pretty in hand at that point.
And the 2-on-1, and then back the other way, VGK scored the goal. Remember that? The shorthanded opportunity where they had the 2-on-1. It could have been a much different game, but okay, we're not trying to overly talk about what could have been, but it is that close of a series. Again, it's going
and the Cup's going to be that close too. The Stanley Cup Final, whoever it is, will be that close as well.
It's going to take a big effort by VGK. Brett Howden of the AKA of the Brett Howden line probably won't be playing in this. So who do you see drawing in? Amadio? Michael Amadio?
Yeah, Amadio can slide in. You can do it a couple different ways, depending if you want Nick Waugh to go on to that line, or if you want Amadio just to slot right in there. I feel comfortable either way. My guess is maybe I don't know if you move Nick Watt down and move. Well, Amadio might be comfortable on that line with Smith and Carlson, and then you bring Nick Watt down to that third line. I mean, geez, what a defensive line of Stevenson, Stone, and Nick Watt. And then you got line 4, who's just going to pound you into the corners and stuff like that. That's I was thinking about something earlier that just caught myself off guard here, Tony. I was driving and I heard a spot on the radio from Sirius XM radio promoting the Golden Knights game tomorrow night. They said player XYZ, and player XYZ from the Vegas Golden Knights look to take on the Dallas Stars. Of those 3 XYZ players, who do you think the first player to get mentioned was?
That had to be Shea Theodore.
It was William Karlsson. William Karlsson got the mention on Sirius XM before Stone and Eichel.
And before Eichel, come on, let it go. Who's right?
I knew I had to tell you. I almost pulled over and hit a post when I heard that, Tony. I'm not going to lie.
Coming up next, Benn gone. Jaime Benn suspension. Was it too severe? Max Domi also gets a $5,000 fine. We will talk about that when we return right here on Locked On Golden Knights. So Chris and I, we received our care packages from our good friends at Bird Dogs, and we really like the way these shorts fit us. I look better. I feel great. I don't know. That's a lot of hype right there, but they are very comfortable, okay? And the Bird Dog shorts and pants are very versatile as well, because you could wear one pair of shorts or pants to go to the golf course and another to just hang out with friends. Another if you're just walking up and down the strip like I did an awful lot of on Wednesday, which was a ton of fun. So Bert Kreischer, he wakes up at his lake house wearing what? His Bird Dogs. He goes for a swim. He smokes a cigar, and then he grills burgers and he chills with his family, all in the shorts that he associates with the summer, and that is Bird Dogs. And Dave Portnoy, he does his pizza reviews wearing Bird Dogs, and he talks about how he hates the pizza, but he feels awfully great. So go to birddogs.com/LockedOnNHL, and when you enter the promo code LockedOnNHL, they will throw in a free custom Bird Dog style tumbler. It's a Yeti style tumbler with each and every order, like the one that we have right here. Okay, I'm trying to get the logo in there. There you go, right there. So make sure that you check that out. It's birddogs.com/LockedOnNHL. Welcome back to Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick. We come to you from Las Vegas each and every day. Thanks for making us your first listen. And make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel, Locked On Golden Knights, and keep all of those comments and chirps coming. We appreciate all of that. And don't forget, on Friday, line up your WTFs, your What the Fridays. So Jaime Benn, Dallas captain, suspended for 2 games by the NHL on Wednesday for his hit on VGK's Mark Stone, less than 2 minutes into Tuesday's game number 3. If VGK eliminates the Stars coming up on Thursday night, then Benn's suspension carries over to game 1 of next season. Benn finally met with the media on Wednesday. He called the penalty, where he cross-checks Stone. Stone, was down on the ice where he hits him in his face with a cross-check, which was just stupid. He said, well, it's the first shift. And he said he was really fired up. But the bizarre quote from Benn, he said that he wouldn't have fallen on Mark Stone, said that he wished that he hadn't fallen on Mark Stone, I should say, said that he used his stick as a landing post. Now, we've watched this over and over again. I've watched it at least a dozen times, and that was with intent. And maybe perhaps if he met with the media following the game, and if he came clean and said, hey, I'm sorry, got caught up in the emotion, you might have believed him a little bit more. But do you think that this suspension was a little bit too severe with 2 games, plus most of the game, 2 minutes into the game, 18 minutes, to go in that period, I mean, he only played, he would have played, it was less than 58 minutes, right? That he was out of 58 minutes, he was out of the game. for. So was it too severe? I can't.
Yes, I think it was too severe. He got no credit for time served, I will say. I mean, there's NHL is saying this is a 3-game suspension. And honestly, I would put what Pietrangelo did in about the same category as far as a borderline intent to injure. So the Stars definitely got the short end of that stick, but I also think part of this had to do with the way he handled things through the media. I don't care that he didn't talk last night. That's whatever. I mean, as the 10-year captain of the team, it would have been nice, but clearly he needed all day and all night to, work out whatever his statement was going to be with whoever, because they came up with that gem of a quote that they thought would get him off the hook, I guess. And obviously that didn't happen. Frank Saravelli had a dynamite quote after this happened, and he screenshotted the quotes from Jaime Benn, and Frank Saravelli said, "I'm fat because of the fork."
Whoa,
that's perfect. I mean, honestly, it's a little rough analogy, but
that's point
being is though you understand the points of what he's trying to say right there. And I have to believe, I'm having a hard time giving Jaime Benn credit for anything after that hit that he made, but I'm having a hard time believing that he came up with this himself, that he just didn't talk to their president, their general manager, their owner, whoever they talk to when things like this happen, and they prep, okay, when you go to the media, say it like this. And I just don't buy that he came up with this. I don't feel like that was Jaime Benn talking. I feel like he was coached to say something and he ran with it. And, maybe I'm giving him too much credit for his character, but, I don't buy that Jaime Benn came up with that just trash, manure, inappropriate word, whatever's on your mind, that type of a quote. It just makes no sense that an adult who knew exactly what was happening, it's on video. It's not like this happened at a beer league game and we're just trying to piece it together. He reverse checks Mark Stone, nice little hit, fine, whatever. And then he knees him on the way down, and I'm just going to cross check you in the head while I'm in that process. And then when I meet with the media tomorrow, I just fell down and his nose, good thing his nose broke my fall, or I might have hurt my stick.
Right. Dallas media and fans are calling for the C to come off of Benn's jersey.
Okay. I mean, listen, people do dumb things all the time. And I mean, listen, sure. I mean, I'm not against that, I guess. I mean, he's a 10-year captain, but literally in 90 seconds in a game, he all but eliminated his team from having a shot at mounting a comeback, right? I mean, the 5-minute power play, the fact that he missed the rest of that game, not knowing there was going to be, additional missed time. So sure, take the captaincy from him. Fine, whatever.
Dallas, again, the fans are comparing the Pietrangelo slash on the wrist of Leon Draisaitl in game 4 against Edmonton, right? So and Alex, of course, Pietrangelo gets 1 game. So if you start to measure those two, perhaps
previous history, I think might have played in a little bit more.
But previous history, no history of first suspension for Jaime Benn.
He's had meetings though.
Yes, he's had meetings. He's been fined a bunch. Last year in the playoffs, I think he was fined, was it 10,000? And I can't remember the hit, but I went back and I found the photo because I remembered something about Benn and Pietrangelo, and I found the photo and I posted it on Locked On VGK, where this was March the 3rd of 2018. And so Benn is sitting on top of Alex Pietrangelo
like a lawn chair,
face washing him, and he just was sitting there and he kept pushing his head onto the ice. I mean, he's a pretty clean player. I wonder what his excuse was there. I was looking for a lawn chair, like seriously.
I mean, listen, this whole thing, it just doesn't add up. And, I wish we could have listened. If Jaime Benn either last night or today, before he even takes a question, says, hey, I effed up. I made a dumb penalty. I'm glad Mark Stone is okay. I'm sorry to the teams, the fans, blah, blah, blah.
He should have reached out to Stone and apologized.
It would have helped. It probably would have helped. And Stone would have taken the call, I think. I don't think Stone is the type that's just going to, shut him off until the handshake line or anything like that, and like, I don't know. I just don't understand. I mean, I'm sure there's gamesmanship. At least the Dallas Stars, whoever told Ben to say this, sees a gamesmanship angle to it. And I don't agree with that. I just don't. I mean, Ben, he's a grown man, been in the league a long time with a lot of responsibility. Let him talk. And I wonder if, 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road from now, if Jaime Benn writes a tell-all book about his time in the NHL and with the Dallas Stars, if we get a different side of this.
Okay, and Max Domi was fined $5,000. I really would have loved to have heard the chirping going on between him and Mark Stone late in the game. Ray Ferraro was in between them in the middle, and he said, there's a lot of things I can't repeat. Yeah. Coming up next, the Campbell Trophy will be in the house in Dallas. If VGK wins, our advice is do not touch that trophy.
Oh, grab it. It's exciting.
I'm superstitious. Plus, we'll have our locks of the night and our predictions. It comes your way next, right here on Locked On Golden Knights. For a championship team, it's all about making sure that every player is the perfect fit. It's the same when it comes to your vehicle. Every part really does need to fit just right. So the next time that you need parts and accessories, head over to eBay Motors. With the eBay Guaranteed Fit, you can make sure that every part that you need fits just right the first time around. Just add your ride to My Garage, and then you can look for the green check, and you know that that part will fit, or your money is returned. Because just like in sports, confidence is the name of the game when you shop at eBay Motors. And with over 122 million parts to choose from, you will be back in the game in no time at all. And after all, it's easy to bring home a victory with the right parts guaranteed. The right parts, the right fit, and the right prices at ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. Welcome back to Locked On Golden Knights from Las Vegas. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick reporting. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. And so, Chris, big day for me on Thursday. You know what Thursday is? TMZ. Back to TMZ. So I need
what's your spot? Who are you?
So
talking about Taylor Swift in the rain, or what are you talking about here?
I hope so. I might have some Swiftie lines there where I could tie in something with one of her songs. I don't know. I just
so we're gonna do a segment of Taylor Swift songs now.
Perhaps, yeah. I mean, I'm down.
Jaime Benn is the anti-hero.
He is the anti-hero. So Florida sweeps the Canes, and after the game, the Prince of Wales trophy, the presentation. Are you superstitious or not? You might have just kind of tipped your hand a little bit there. So Alexander Barkov lifts the trophy, and a lot of teams are still superstitious. This goes back a ways where teams feel that the only time that you should hoist a trophy is the Stanley Cup. Back in 2018, Ovechkin, he lifted it. Do you remember that? And he lifted the trophy, and he just said, I don't even care, whatever. He was getting drunk on vodka. He could care less. I think
Vegas
maybe he drank vodka out of it. Did they lift it? I couldn't remember.
Yeah, they carried it right off the ice in Winnipeg, right into the locker room. Derek England.
Do you remember who did?
England.
Derek England. Wow, that's good memory. Good memory there.
And so, listen, it's fun. It's cool. Grab the trophy. Whatever. I get the superstition. Sorry if I cut you off. If you had something else coming.
I was just thinking about my topics for TMZ and trying to get some good dirt.
Nice. You just have to shake it off of the superstition. More Taylor Swift. So superstition. The only time I'm superstition is at the craps table, Tony. That's the only time. If the dice go off the table, if the cocktail server brings a drink, or bad. If my wife comes to visit me while I'm rolling the dice, I either take my bets down or I hop the 61. I don't bet the 7 straight up. I hop 61 because 61 is always the number that gets me if I'm rolling dice. I haven't rolled dice in a while. In Reno, I did a little bit, but otherwise I haven't rolled dice in a while. But that's about the only time in my life I think I'm really overly superstitious. But grab the trophy. It's fun, whatever. And honestly, the way the Stars fans treated the Golden Knights, and not just the Golden Knights, but the way they treated the Dallas Stars as well, rub a little salt in, carry that trophy around, take your time skating it off, and remind not all the Dallas Stars fans, because I'm sure 98% of the Dallas Stars fans are wonderful people, but the 2% that were throwing popcorn, Aiden Hill, and throwing crap on the ice and whatever, just a little extra,
There was an apology though from the Dallas.
It was
Stars.
it was classy, yeah, and I think they're taking action.
It was
Players
from the president, right?
or people were ejected from the arena. They were saying, I guess Fox reported, because I guess the goalie sits like in the tunnel there, basically like in the corner, and I guess and I don't know if he sits behind the bench, or I don't know actually. He sits somewhere out in the open, and I guess they removed Jonathan Quick in the third period because people were still throwing crap out there.
Yeah, I'm still getting a lot of noise because I suggested that Jonathan Quick come into the game.
I agree with you, Tony. I thought that was a great
You never do. You never do, but I appreciate that. And we could see a lot of bad blood in this game. That's another Taylor Swift song.
Yes.
So VGK, I have VGK winning this game. So everything, it's upside down on this show. VGK, I've got them winning 4-3. I'm going to take the over, and I'm going to go with the Booger Man, Teddy Bluger. And I'm going to go with Riley Smith for the win, the game winner. I think Riley Smith has been doing a lot of good work, and I think it's finally going to pay off for him and the VGK. That's my prediction.
Originally, I said VGK in 5. I had VGK losing game 3 and then winning games 4 and 5. I kind of want to just stick to my guns just because I want to be right on my 4-1 finish, but I just don't see, especially with the Benn situation, with the Donoff being out, with how well our defense has been playing, and the fact that now we're going to have a huge matchup advantage, knowing that Dallas is basically without 2/3 of one of their strong lines. I got 4-1 Vegas. I don't see a very competitive game from the Dallas Stars. You'll see some jump, you'll see some push, you'll see some moments, but I think Cassidy, who's out coached DeBoer in every facet of this series so far, I think that's going to continue Thursday night. So let's go 4-1 Vegas. You like Bluger and Smith. I want to go Carrier again. I like what Carrier did. I like watching him drive to the net. I like that goal.
Yeah, that was a good goal.
Let's really make this hurt. Let's go Carrier Colasar. Let's go Carrier Colasar. Let's have some fun.
That wasn't a Coley. I like the way they just add a Y to everyone's name. That was not a Coley shot that hit the fan in the stands, was it? You never returned my tweet. That's okay.
I did see that one. I probably had something else to do. I actually drank the other day. I pulled that. Remember the glass I have that has the hockey puck like melted into it? That I showed you. Yes. I actually used that the other day. I was thinking about you, Tony. A nice glass of iced tea.
Bring it on the show for Friday's WTF. What the Friday. We thank everyone for tuning in, especially our everydayers who tune in each and every day. We appreciate everything. We appreciate your comments, of course, on YouTube, on Twitter. We try to answer as many of your comments as we possibly can. We're not like these prude guys. We don't really care. Chris is going to lift the cup, and I'm going to lift my tumbler right there, okay, if VGK wins. We thank everyone for tuning in. We appreciate it. And again, for my man, Chris Golick, I'm Tony Cardasco from Las Vegas. We'll see you again tomorrow, WTF Day. What the Friday, right here on Locked On Golden Knights.